Hi Year 10, we hope you've had a nice half term and you've had enough time to catch up on the homework that has been set so far. From this week, we want you to forget about completing any more of that work and just focus on the lessons going forward. So this week you're going to be looking about what you do at home to protect the environment, which is just going to be a continuation of what you did the week before last, about different ways that you should look after the environment. So the first thing that you're going to do is you have got a what tense activity in your starter box. I would say maybe 4 or 5 minutes looking through, working out what the sentences mean and what tenses are for each sentence. And then on the next slide, you will have a look at the answers. Okay, so the activity from the starter, what tense? 10A1, you are going to complete all 10, and all of the other classes, you should complete number 1 to 6 because they will be the tenses that you've already looked at in detail. And then if you are confident or you want a bit of a challenge, try the 4 towards the bottom. Listen to the voiceover to learn about them, and then by all means you can use them in your work and you can practice using them if you're confident to do so. So the first one, you've got reciclo. So remember, the way that we work out our tenses is with what they end with. Reciclar means to recycle, and with an O on the end, we know that we're talking about ourselves in the present tense with the O on the end. So in my house, I recycle paper and cardboard. Again, a lot of the vocabulary we're going to be using today is going to be exactly the same vocabulary, just with a bit more variety from the previous lesson. So next one, we've got ayer desconecté mi móvil cuando lo cargué. So ayer means yesterday. We know that we're talking about a past tense. Desconecté, E with an accent on the end, and again E with an accent on the end at the end, is the preterite tense. So the preterite tense is something that happened once in the past. Yesterday I unplugged or I disconnected my phone when I charged it. Number 3. Voy a reciclar más para salvar el planeta. So this time you've got reciclar, which is an infinitive. And remember, as I've said over the past couple of months, if you've got an infinitive, if your verb ends in an AR, ER or IR, it means that it is going to be a future tense. This one, because you've got the 3 parts, you've got voy, a, and then the infinitive, that is going to be the near future. I am going to recycle more to save the planet. Me gustaría hacer más trabajo voluntario medioambiental. So for this one again, we've got the AR here for gustar. That means that it's going to be one of the future tenses, but we've also got ia on the end. You should already know that me gustaría means I would like, so that is the conditional tense. I would like to do more voluntary work, more environmental voluntary work. Again, ia on the end, it's would, could, should. It is conditional. It may not definitely happen. Number 5, you've got the sentence starter en el pasado. So in the past, we know it's going to be the past tense, but we also know it's going to be the past tense because you've not got your AR here. So we've got aba on the end. It's the imperfect, so it's not going to be like this one here. It's the imperfect for aba. In the past, my mum used to recycle all the time. Number 6, we're going back to having that O on the end, so nice and easy. The present tense. I reuse plastic bags to help the environment. So these ones get a bit more challenging now, so obviously if you're in the other classes, by all means give it a go. So you've got, as a school, estamos reciclando. Estamos means we are, reciclando, recycling. So the present continuous, something that is happening right now. As a school, we are recycling during the school day. Number 8, everyone will have seen this tense, which is the perfect tense, but it's not one of our common ones. So this morning, me ha duchado en vez de bañarme. So we know that we've not got the AR on the end, so it's not going to be a future, it's going to be a present or a past. You've got a and then ado on the end, so it's a perfect. This morning I have showered, so this is a tense that means I have done something. I have showered instead of having a bath. Number 9, we've got an E with an accent on the end, which is the same as this one here, E with an accent. However, we have got an AR on the end, which means it's going to be a future. Now, it's not going to be this future tense, because this one is 3 parts, boy, a, reticlar. This one has the infinitive and then the E with an accent, so it's going to be the true future. Now, the difference is, number 3 means I am going to recycle, and number 9 means I will save. So the difference is I am going to, I will. So it's infinitive plus E with an accent on the end. I will save more energy and water. And then finally, 10A1 will have looked at this. Me habría gustado, you should know, means I would have liked. That's the conditional perfect. Something that hasn't happened, but is something that you would have liked to have happened or would have happened if something else had. So I would have liked to recycle more paper to save trees. So from the last lesson, what we're going to do today, just to recap, because I know some of you struggled and left some comments just about understanding the if clauses that were a focus for last lesson. So we're going to have a look at them again today, but first we're just going to recap the present tense, just to make sure you can form that. Now the present tense, you will have learnt it all the way since year 7. The first thing that you need is your infinitive. So your infinitive is a verb that ends in AR, ER or IR. So for example, hablar, to talk. So your infinitive, right there, we can see that it ends in AR. The next thing we are going to do, because I don't want to say to talk, I want to say I talk or he talks, you're going to take off the ending. So you're going to get rid of the AR or the ER or the IR. And then finally, you are going to add on depending on the correct ending. So if it's an AR verb, you're going to add on these endings. If it's an ER verb, so comer, you're going to add on these endings. And then if it's an IR verb, these endings. So if I want to say I talk, you're going to take off the AR and you're going to add an O. So a couple of examples at the bottom. Reciclar means to recycle. Now normally we would take off the AR and we would add an O for I recycle. And then if you wanted to say we recycle, it would be reciclamos. He or she recycles, recicla. So we've got apagar, which is to turn off. So again, if you wanted to say I turn off, you're taking off that AR and you're adding an O. Ahorrar, which is to save, but remember ahorrar is to save as in resources, water, money. Salvar is to save as in to save a life. So ahorrar, take off the AR on the end and you're going to add an O. Ahorro. Recaudar, which is to raise, like to raise money. Again, take off the AR and then add recaudo. So the idea is taking it from an AR verb, which is to recycle, to turn off, and then take it off the AR and add an O to say I. Then if you want to change that to we, again you're just going to put amos on the end. Reciclamos, we recycle. Apagamos, we turn off. Ahorramos, ahorramos would be we save, but now putting it as you, ahorras, you save. Recaudas would be you raise. So on here, what I want you to do is have a look through the different boxes. Now, there are words on here that you definitely won't know. And all of the different bubbles are talking about why you should recycle or what we recycle for. I I want you to go through and have a look for all of the verbs in the present tense. So you're going to look for the verbs that end in either o-as-a, amos, ais, an, or o-s-e, emos, ais, en, o-s-e, emos, is, en. So whether it's AR, ER, IR. And I want you to just make a bullet point for what each of them bullet points is talking about, what aspect of recycling or saving the environment it's referring to. You don't need to know every single word. What you're going to do is you are going to use cognates, so you can look for the words that look like the English, then you're going to use the words that you already know, and then use the pictures as well to have a look. I would say spend about 3 or 4 minutes doing this, finding the verbs in the present tense, and then working out what it's telling you that you should do or why you should recycle. So at this point you can pause the slide or pause the video and then restart it when you've had a think. So first of all, your present tense verbs. All of these are using verbs that have emos, emos or amos on the end. So we've got protegemos. So we know that if it ends in emos, amos or emos, it's going to be we. So we protect. Reducimos, we reduce. Combatimos, we combat, we fight. Creamos, we create. Ahorramos, we save. Permitimos, we permit or we allow. So they're all your present tense verbs there that we're focusing on. Now, the top left one, protegemos los recursos naturales y el medio ambiente. So we protect, we know naturales looks like natural. We protect natural recursos, you could probably guess means resources. So in recycling, we protect natural resources, and we should know the word el medio ambiente. It's been our focus for the past couple of weeks. So we protect natural resources and the environment. Okay, the next one, reducimos la contaminación y combatimos el cambio climático. So we reduce contamination, nice and easy, and we combat, we fight cambio climático. So we know climático is climate, climate. And then cambio, we have seen the verb cambiar, which means to change. So cambio climático is climate change. Creamos fuentes de empleo. Empleo looks like employ. Fuentes, we probably won't be able to work that out. So we create something of work. We create lines of work. We create different jobs, basically. It's referring to a workforce in the field of the environment, recycling. The bottom left, permitimos la creación de nuevos productos. Permitimos, we allow or we permit. Creación looks like the creation. Nuevo, we should know is new. Productos, products. So we allow the creation of new products. The blue box. Al reciclar una botella plástica, ahorramos la energía necesaria para mantener encendido un foco de 100 watts durante 4 horas. So, in recycling a plastic bottle, we save the necessary energy to keep a 100-watt light bulb lit for 4 hours. So even if you didn't understand every word there, we know ahorramos to save, recycling, plastic bottle, we save, energy, necessary, mantener to maintain. We don't know encendido, we don't know enfoco, we know watts, so 100 watts for 4 hours. Necessary energy to maintain 100 watts for 4 hours of a light bulb. At the bottom middle, by recycling, say ahorran, so ahorrar means to save. We save money, and recursos, resources. Next one, the trees at the bottom are going to help you. Recycling paper, evitar, again we should know that, avoid. La tala indiscriminada is like the illegal cutting down, the illegal deforestation of millions of trees. So you use, obviously you don't know la tala indiscriminada. You probably know indiscriminada being indiscriminate, not allowing it, not being right, and then millions of trees. So on this one, pretty straightforward. I just want you to go through and have a look. It's talking about what schools do. If you have a look at the bottom left, you've got to make a list of what the school already do and what they plan to do in the future. Write this again on a piece of paper or in your book or on a Word document, and you've got a little vocab list on the bottom right hand side here. Remember, you don't need to know every word. You've got to work through and pick out the words that you do know and then work around the rest. So we're going to have another recap of the near future tense, because remember the if clauses we were looking at, you've got to use two tenses. You've got to use the present tense and then a future tense, because you're saying, if I do this, I will be able to do that. If you look after the environment, you will save it, the planet, for future generations. So the near future tense, you start off with the present tense of ir. So easily, without looking at the grammar behind it, you know that you've got to start with voy vas va, vamos vais van. So voy, I go. Vas, you go. Va, he or she goes. Vamos, we go. Vais, you all go. And van, they go. Then you're going to add a. Then you're going to add the infinitive. So it's three parts. You've got boy, a, infinitive. So if you wanted to say, I am going to recycle, it's not going to be reciclar. Follow the pattern. Voy a reciclar. Apagar, to turn off. So not just apagar now. Follow the pattern. It's going to be voy a apagar. I am going to turn off. Ahorrar, to save. I'm going to save. Voy a ahorrar. Recaudar, to raise. Voy a recaudar. And then changing it to the we version. Vamos a reciclar, we are going to recycle. Vamos a apagar, we are going to turn off. This time we're going to change it to you. So it goes from I to you. So it's going to be vas a ahorrar, you are going to save. Vas a recaudar, you are going to raise. So on this side, what I want you to do is just try and translate them boxes. You have got a key word box in the top left hand corner. Once you are done, you can check the answers, which will be in a couple of seconds, and green pen it. So your answers are here. Remember, we're focusing on using the we form in the present and the future tense. So we've got reciclamos, reducimos, apagamos, hacemos, vamos, and vamos up here again, talking about we. On this page, what I want you to do is write, well, we're going to go through two together, and then you're going to write two of your own. So the first one is what you do to look after the environment. The next is what you should do. And then the final one is what you are going to do. So for example, I've started off by saying, every day I recycle paper and cardboard into containers. So reciclo, it ends in an O, because this is going to be our present tense column, this one here. Then the next one is what you should do, and for this you're going to use the conditional tense. You should recycle because it is good for the environment. So for this one, it's going to end in ia. So this column, your verb, is going to end in ia. So every day I recycle paper and cardboard into containers. I should recycle because it's good for the environment. And then finally, your last one is going to be the future, what you are going to do. Therefore, I am going to recycle. So remember, voy a infinitive. I'm going to recycle more products at home, such as tins. So another example. Normally, I have a bath because it is relaxing. So again, present tense ends in an O. But I should shower instead of having a bath because it saves water. So again, debería, your conditional tense, what you should do. And then finally, your near future tense. Therefore, tomorrow, voy a ducharme. I am going to shower quickly to use less water. So see if you can think of two more of your own following that structure. If you're struggling, don't worry too much. Just use the vocabulary that you've got here on the different examples and just change it. And remember to look back through the vocabulary that you've used over the past couple of weeks. So on this slide, we're looking at them if clauses again. So the whole point of if clauses is one, higher level, but in using them in Spanish, it's by saying, if you do this, this will happen. If we do this, this will happen. So the first one, if you turn off the lights, you are going to save energy. If you recycle, you are going to save the planet. If we do more, so we've changed the ending this time, we are going to avoid problems to the environment. So for this, you're either going to end with the you form or the we form. Having a look at this one. Si cerramos, if we turn off the taps, we are going to save a lot of water. We've gone back to the AS on the end now. So if you disconnect your appliances, your devices, you are going to save more energy. So the present tense, you is going to end in AS or ES, and we is going to end in amos or emos or emos. And then the near future, that's simple, vas a infinitive. Vamos a infinitive. So your present tense is going to look like this side, your future tense is going to look like this side. So for this slide, you only need to do this if you are in 10A1 or if you are in the other classes and you want a challenge and you're confident with these tenses. So we have got a couple of future tenses. We've got the near future, which we've just seen, which is your voy a infinitive, voy a reciclar, voy a recaudar, voy a comer. And then you've got the true future tense, which is your infinitive, and then E with an accent on the end. So you definitely need your infinitive, and then you need your E with an accent on the end. So instead of voy a hablar, which would be I am going to talk, hablaré would be I will talk. Obviously, they both mean the same thing. It's just a different translation like we have in English, and you can use them whenever you want. Obviously, if you've already used the near future, then use the true future because you're going to be getting more marks for using another tense. So, reciclar, changing that to I will recycle, you're going to have reciclar, put the E with the accent on the end, and it's going to be reciclaré. Apagar turns into apagaré. Ahorrar, ahorraré, which is I will save. And then we've got reciclaremos, so the we ending, reciclaremos, we will recycle. Apagaremos, we will turn off. And then the you form now, the we form again, ahorraremos, you will save. So again, the if clauses, you can do the present tense and use it with the near future, which is the voy a infinitive, or you can use it with the true future, which is your infinitive and then the ending. So normally, if it was I will save, it would be ahorraré. But this time we've put ahorrarás because we're talking about you. You will save energy. So on this slide, what you've got to do is your writing task for the week. You have either got the orange one to do or the red one to do. The red one is more challenging and higher level. The orange one is the standard one for this lesson. So basically what you're going to have to do is use the following sheets, which are also attached as a document to your Show My Homework task. That's going to help you. You're going to respond to the question, what do you do at home to protect the environment? And then you're going to use the if clauses after each sentence that you write. Obviously, if you're going to do it the harder one, you're going to use the sheet to help you to respond to the same question as a paragraph using if clauses, more detail, past, present, future. So what you do to protect the environment at home. So the sheets I'm referring to is this one and the one on the next slide, and they're in continuation of each other. So basically it's just a sentence builder. You can pick one phrase from each of them columns, and then you'll have formed your sentence. So for example, you may write a veces, so sometimes, reciclo papel y cartón, I recycle paper and cardboard. Dado que, given that. Reduce basura no reciclable, so it reduces non-recyclable waste. Que es bueno, which is good. So obviously this gives you the opportunity, the sentence builder, to write about a couple of different topics with the environment, but with this structure if you have been struggling up until now. Even if you haven't been struggling, try and get to using this structure and then add on to it to make it higher level and more complex. So that's the first part of your sentence, and then you go on to the next one. So you've been speaking about recycling paper and cardboard sometimes because it's good. So I'm going to say pero, but, en el futuro, in the future, voy a reciclar más productos. I'm going to recycle more products. Ya que, since, so using another connective, so since, podría ayudar a salvar el planeta. It could help to save the environment. So we're using our conditional tense now. So we've used our present, future, and conditional. And then you're going to say why. So always say why using an adjective. Que sería beneficioso, which would be beneficial. So that gives you the starting point for your sentences. After you've done that, I'd like you to use an if clause. So you've spoken about the environment, so let's write an if clause now. So you could say si reciclas. So if you recycle, comma, and then you can use either the future, the near future, or the true future. So if you've been working with the near future, you're going to write vas. If you recycle, you are going to reduce rubbish. Reducir basura. So there we have got present, near future, and conditional, and you've got opinions and a range of connectives in between. Obviously, to get up to a grade 4, you have to use the past tense, and we're not going to focus on the past tense this week. Obviously, we have done loads of it up until now, but I want you to think of a way that you would be able to fit the past tense in. That might be saying, for example, yesterday, reciclé, I recycled papel, or when I was younger, no reciclaba, I didn't recycle when I was younger. So it is up to you how you do that. Finally, what you're going to do, it does say complete the quiz and submit any work, including your writing task. Now, what I'm going to do this week is the quiz will go live next Monday so that it gives you time to actually go through the lesson first and then complete the quiz. So hand in any work you do today or as soon as you do the PowerPoint or the lesson, and then just as a recap to see how much you've remembered. You may need to have another quick look over the lesson video, but otherwise do that in a week's time so you are taking that time to absorb the information from the lesson.